You guys hear that noise? I'm sure you've heard it plenty of times in your life. I remember once I was just sitting with my family and we heard that same sound in our neighborhood. It was such a scary scene. We opened the window and started watching. One group was throwing rocks at the other. Then the second group started escalating things, throwing anything they could get their hands on back at the first group. And then we started hearing gunshots. In the end, we found out it was all about some road dispute. It turned into this whole I gotta prove myself kind of fight, like either I show you who's boss or you'll walk all over me. And of course, no one wants things to go as far as real violence or even killing, God forbid. If only I were a mediator in that situation. There's so many tools I could have used to bring both sides together, find a smarter, more practical way to fix things. I truly believe that every woman who's passionate and confident in herself and her abilities can totally have that kind of power. Some women were really drawn to the name of the project, Salfit Women for Conflict Resolution and Peace Building, which trained them on how to actually use those tools. Hey there, and welcome to this podcast. I'm Sarah Karaut, and I'll be your host. This project is part of a program aimed at boosting the role of women led civil society organizations, specifically those working to implement the Women, Peace, and Security Agenda in Iraq, Jordan, Lebanon, and Palestine. It's funded by the Support Fund for Feminist Organizations, which is backed by the French Development Agency and the French Ministry for Europe and Foreign Affairs. Here in Palestine, it's being carried out through a partnership between the Euro-Mediterranean Women's Initiative and the Working Women's Society. Hi, I'm Naima Abdullah Hassan Halasi. I'm married and a mom of four. Right now, I'm a full-time homemaker, but I used to work in the private sector for 15 years. I joined the conflict resolution and peace building training because honestly, I love learning new skills. I'm really into self-development, and these kinds of workshops really excite me. I'm super passionate about learning. I truly believe that every bit of knowledge I gain will definitely help me in some way. So yeah, I was really excited when I heard about the training. The title, Conflict Resolution and Peace Building, totally caught my attention. That's why I signed up and got involved. Naima felt a huge difference after the training, like it really changed the way she looked at things, especially when she found herself in a situation that played out right in front of her. That's when she made the decision. I'm going to use what I learned. One day, I was visiting this place, and suddenly, boom, an argument broke out between two women. I actually knew one of them, but the other one I didn't. The one I didn't know, she was super aggressive and really fired up. I didn't say anything at first. I just stayed quiet and waited till they both went their separate ways. Then I went over to the lady I didn't know, greeted her politely, introduced myself, spoke to her calmly, and asked, "Hey, what's going on? Are you okay?" She started opening up, telling me what happened with her son, and I just listened. Then I gently told her, maybe there was a better way to handle it, without getting so upset. What if you heard the other side out first? After we talked for a while, she calmed down, and suddenly she just broke down in tears. I asked her, "Why are you crying? It's okay. Take a breath." She said she was dealing with a lot of family stress, and that's what was making her snap like that. She reacts quickly, gets emotional, says things she doesn't mean, so I told her, "Look, you can fix this. If you feel bad, there's nothing wrong with apologizing. Actually, it takes strength. It shows you're the bigger person. Go talk to that woman, clear the air." And she did. She went up to her, shook her hand, and apologized. She even told her she'd been going through a rough time. And thank God, the whole thing got resolved right there. After that, the woman came back to me and said, "I want us to be friends, or even sisters. Can I call you if anything ever comes up?" And I said, "Of course, I'm always here. If you ever need anything, just call me. I've got your back, whatever you need." Nema's colleague from the training, Suna Jibril, is from the village of Farka in the Salfit district. She told me more about how the training had a positive impact on her, especially in her work.
Hi, my name is Suna Jibril, and I'm from the village of Farka. My background is in nursing, but right now I work in trade and I also volunteer with the Palestinian Red Crescent Society. Thank God, after taking the training, it had a really big impact on me, especially in developing my skills in conflict resolution and dealing with family or community issues. During the training, I was introduced to so many useful tools and techniques we can use to resolve conflicts. I learned how, in certain moments, we can reject or step away from situations that might negatively affect us, but do it in a wise way without leaving a negative impact on the other person or the other side of the conflict, and without causing any kind of loss to ourselves. Double asterisk.
Neema and Suna are two of several women who decided to take part in a program that primarily aims to support marginalized women and strengthen their role in decision-making processes related to conflict and peace building. This is definitely leading to a positive impact in Palestinian society. Today, there's a real call for every Palestinian woman to take part in this training to gain the tools needed for conflict leadership and peace building. I'd like to welcome my guest, Dr. Hani Simirat, Executive Director of the Cooperation for Conflict Resolution Foundation and a specialized trainer in dialogue, mediation, and negotiation. We're really happy to have you with us today, Dr. Hani, to talk about a very important topic, the role of women as mediators in conflict leadership and peace building. This is such a critical issue, the role of women in leading conflict resolution and building peace. So let me ask you this, Dr. Hani. Do you think we've truly reached a point where our society trusts women to take on this kind of leadership role? Or maybe it's better to first ask, what level of confidence do Palestinian women have, and how much confidence does society place in them, for them to have a strong voice and a real positive impact in this field?
So if we start with the issue of trust, honestly, I think trust in women is still pretty low. And if we look at some numbers and data around women's participation in general, especially in politics, decision-making, and conflict resolution, it's not encouraging. I'm talking specifically in the context of UN Resolution 1325, which pushes governments to give women equal space alongside men in negotiations, dialogue, conflict resolution, and political decision-making. But if we bring it back to the Palestinian context, we can clearly see that most conflict resolution tools are still male-dominated. For example, women make up less than 2% of arbitrators, which says a lot. And when it comes to tribal systems or community-based conflict resolution, it's pretty much exclusive to men. Women aren't part of that process at all. Even politically, if we look at the number of women involved in the reconciliation between Hamas and Fatah, it's almost non-existent. Same goes for Palestinian-Israeli negotiations. Besides Dr. Hanan Ashrawi, women haven't really been involved, which is really unfortunate. So that's why we felt there's a real need to develop new tools for conflict resolution, tools that actually create safe spaces for women to step in and engage in mediation. That's where the idea of mediation units came from. And from that angle, it became even more important to push for implementation of UN Resolution 1325, which ensures women have equal opportunities to get involved in conflict resolution. We also need to make sure women have a real role in decision-making, not just be stuck in limited traditional positions. Women should be encouraged and supported to hold leadership roles and decision-making power. But honestly, if we look at the political scene, women aren't even in the Central Committee, not in the PLO's Central Committee either. In terms of ministers, there's like, what? One woman minister? And when it comes to party leadership in the PLO, women are completely absent. So any progress we do see, any contributions women make to peace building or conflict resolution, are basically exceptions. Like, you'll find a success story here or there, but that's it. Even when it comes to elections, like municipal or local council elections, we've seen situations where a woman's photo is replaced with a flower on campaign posters, or her husband shows up on her behalf even though she's the elected official. Some local councils hold meetings late Thursday night or early Friday morning, which, let's be real, is a way to exclude women from participating. This is a layered issue. It's a mix of traditions, dominant social norms, outdated policies, and even the quota system, which, honestly, I'm not a fan of. There are religious, cultural, ethical, and traditional references in our society that unfortunately have not actively supported or empowered women, at least not in the Palestinian context. So, to build trust in women's ability to lead conflict resolution, we need to start small and start where she already proves herself. For example, Women are already resolving conflicts within their families, with their husbands, kids, in-laws, etc. Let's give her that space officially. Let critics see firsthand that women can resolve conflicts effectively. Then, step by step, we can expand that role to other areas. That being said, I personally believe that women should be given full access, without limits, to be part of both decision-making and conflict resolution processes in Palestinian society.